Hi my lovely people. Today we're going to be talking about how to be a resourceful reader in this day and age of book talk, booktube, a little bit of overconsumption, and where to be able to find books to read in a manner that is resourceful, convenient, and also not breaking the bank. I feel like a lot of videos I see have book haul 50 plus books, or this is my book haul, now I'm on a real book buying ban. And I'm not like shaming that at all. I love watching those videos and I love seeing the kinds of books that people are buying, and I love seeing videos of people going to the bookstore and buying a lot of books and having a book haul. Like, I love it so much. But it's just sometimes as a watcher, you watch these videos and sometimes I feel a little bit, dang, that's so cool, that's so fun, but I personally can't be doing that. Books are pretty expensive, especially hardcover books, especially when you buy books from a bookstore or Barnes and Nobles, and getting a book of that size, like a book haul of that size, costs a bit of money. And I personally don't buy too many books. My physical TBR is maybe around 20 books or so. And I think before I would be like, oh, I don't think I can ever be a booktuber or ever post any kind of book related content because I don't buy books that often. And that is not true. There are a lot of booktubers now that it's really just about finding your niche, and some people's content is about book hauls, and again, I love watching that, but you don't have to be that way. Someone that I really like watching is Carrie Can Reads, and she gets a lot of her books from Libby in the library, which I'll be talking about. So this is just giving you guys some ideas of you don't need to be breaking the bank to read a lot, to incorporate reading, making it a daily hobby, or to even potentially start making book content of your own if you enjoy reading a lot. So let's get right into it. The first tip I would like to say is to not feel like you need to always be buying books and to have that mindset, because I personally feel that I exercise a lot of restraint because there are a lot of times where I feel that, wow, I really want to read this book, or a book came out and I feel like I really want to get my hands on it. But honestly, whenever I think that, my first thought isn't, I'm gonna go buy this book, I'm gonna go order it, or go to the bookstore and buy it. It's really just, how can I get my hands on it without paying? I think a big part is a mindset thing, and in addition to that, I kind of limit how many times I buy books, and it's not really me consciously thinking about it, but it's more of something that's become ingrained in me, because I think I only buy books if when I'm visiting another place on vacation, like Chicago or Portland, and I'm visiting a bookstore on vacation and I want to buy a book because I'm somewhere new, and whenever I have that book and see it, I think about, oh, I bought this in Chicago, I bought this at this place. And typically it's also at secondhand bookstores where the price is a little bit lower because it's a used book, but I usually try to find ones that still have new looking quality, or at least it's in good condition. And another time I buy books is if I really think I'll like it, because I just try to not buy books, at least I've become a lot better about it, but I try not to buy books if I am not sure if I'll like it, because that is something I'll have on my shelf for a very long time, and if it's a book where I'm like, that wasn't that good, then that would be kind of sad to have it. So I try to buy a book that's honestly maybe a bit more on the popular side, or something that I am very excited to read. And besides that, the biggest thing is a book that I think would be good to annotate. So I really do buy books with a purpose of, I want to annotate this. An example is I bought the UK version of The Song of Achilles because everyone said that book was so good. So it checked off the box of, I think I'll like it. And also it checked off the box of, I can't really explain, but having the vibe that I would want to annotate it. And I'm in the middle of it right now. I'm halfway through and I've been annotating it, and I've had a very fun time annotating it, and I found it very aesthetic vibes to annotate. And just getting books where, honestly, I hate to say it, but are good for the aesthetic of annotating and bringing it out to a coffee shop or something, or reading it outside in that sense. Oh, and then the last way I get books is just from getting gifts once in a while. So, you know, some people in my life know that I love reading, so sometimes I'll get some books as gifts, which I really love and appreciate. And that about sums up what makes up my physical TBR. I don't particularly go out of my way to buy books, and I only think maybe for some book videos I have been brainstorming, I might buy a couple books for that, but I think for the amount I read, it's pretty infrequent. Okay, now getting into my resources of how I would consider myself a resourceful reader. The first one, and bear with me, I know these are pretty obvious, but really use your local library. Oh my god, I love going to the library so much. The one at my house, the one near my house or in my neighborhood is really nice, and I'm very fortunate to live in a city where we have a very nice library. But I've visited a decent amount of libraries, and even if they're just basically a building with some bookshelves, they have a lot of books that you want to read. And just check out their catalog, put in a hold, and pick up the book. And I just think using your library is so good, and it feels so convenient and nice to be able to read books that you've been wanting to read without spending that money, because sometimes you can be spending that money somewhere else. Also, I want to say that if you do want to spend your money on books, you totally should, to support the authors and the publishing industry and all that. I just, again, as of right now, need to be a bit resourceful and not break the bank. But yes, use your library. And also, I personally have technically access to 3 different libraries, and so I would also suggest looking into any kinds of different opportunities there are around you, because I have a library card for the library in my city, but I also have one for the general area next to me, and I also have access to another county next to me, so I definitely am sometimes not at my house, and I use those resources to get books from other libraries as well. The second one is Libby, and I hope you know about Libby, and if you don't know about Libby, where have you been? This is the dream book app for readers. And if you don't know, it's an app that connects to your library card. So if your library is partnered with Libby, you can input your card and gain access to your library's online resources. And this is such an amazing app because for ebooks, you can connect it to your Kindle and basically be able to get books on your Kindle for free. and you also get access to a ton of audiobooks. The only thing is it acts like a library system where you do have to check out books for 2 or 3 weeks. So it does have that limited amount of time, and you have to queue or place a hold on a book, but books can range from being available all the time to waiting 20 weeks. But honestly, when I have to wait, it really doesn't bother me that much because I have a lot of books on my TBR, so there are other books I can read from my physical TBR or the library. So I place a hold on a book, and even if it's 21 weeks, it'll get off hold. So, okay, not so quickly because it did take that much time, but to the point where it pops up a notification that, oh, this book is ready for you to check out. And I'm just like, whoa, I kind of forgot I placed that on hold, but it's kind of awesome that I can check it out now. What I'm trying to say is that it doesn't feel so long because you kind of forget about it a little bit, and it's a little bit of a treat, a little gift several months from the time you place the hold. But yeah, this is just such a great place, and you could find, dare to say, almost every book that you're looking for through Libby. So it's pretty amazing. And if you don't have a Kindle, you can get the ebooks on your iPad to read it. And that's what I used to do before I had my Kindle. The third tip is using Hoopla. I think this is a lot less mainstream than Libby because I didn't really know about it until a little bit more recently, but Hoopla is another app that connects to some other libraries, and I don't know if it's kind of like some libraries connect with Hoopla and some connect with Libby, but like I said, I have several library cards, so I have access to both, and it's amazing. So Hoopla is another library book app, and there are just some book options on the app, and I mainly use Hoopla for getting audiobooks on the fly because you don't need to place holds or queue for Hoopla like you need to do for Libby. It's just available, and you can click borrow now and you have that audiobook, or they do have ebooks as well for 21 days. The only thing about Hoopla is I most of the time don't borrow their ebooks because you have to read it through the app, you can't connect it to your Kindle. But I do use it sometimes because I will read it on my iPad, but I think once I got my Kindle, I can't go back to reading on my iPad as easily because it's not as convenient. But for audiobooks, it's such a great resource. The selection is definitely less than Libby, but it is really nice because, like I said, you don't have to place holds, and if you just want to listen to an audiobook or you're reading a book already and you kind of want the audiobook as well for immersive reading or something, you can just check it out. And it's just that there's a limit of checking out 6 titles per month, but I honestly never hit that limit. I've only hit the limit once, and so it's just a really great secondary resource to have if you're the kind of person who likes audiobooks. And finally, the last tip I have, which is more of a tip and not a resource per se, is to just start honing in your book taste and being more selective with what you read. And maybe you don't want to do that, and that's totally fine. I just think for me, that's what I've been trying to do this year, and it's been one of my goals, because before I would buy books because I just wanted more books. I would go to websites that have books at a discount, and because they're discounted books, they didn't have as many options, so I would buy kind of random books just because I wanted books on my shelf. And now that I've matured a little, that is not the way to go. You should not buy books just because you want books in your home. Granted, it was pretty discounted and at good prices, so that wasn't that big of a deal, but now I just think being more thoughtful with what you want to read. And obviously you don't know if you're going to like a book or not, but at least for me, the feeling of having bought a book and having it, looking at it and thinking, wow, I really did not like that book, is a bit sad. And also I annotated it, so it's just gonna sit in my room forever. But I think when you do buy books, going back to my tips of limiting to it being maybe a special occasion, such as being in another city to buy them, or being a book that you're really excited and hyped for and have the feeling that you'll like it, limiting it to that rather than, again, the mindset of wanting to buy a book because it's just a pretty cover because you want more books is probably not the way to go if you're trying to not spend all your money on books. And yeah, with that, those are my tips for how to be a resourceful reader. Hopefully you are able to take these into account, support your local library. I don't know if this is quite true or not, but I think I heard that checking out books from your library is more helpful in supporting their data than just checking out through Libby. So if you can, I think going physically to the library is probably the best way to support it and checking out books. But yeah, just doing that and keeping in mind the mindset you have while buying books. And then obviously when you start making those big bucks, you can buy all the books you want, you can support all the authors you can, and just have fun with it. I don't know what I'm saying anymore. I think I'm basically just saying that use your library apps, and I'm just telling you that I read a decent amount every year. I used to read 60 books a year, and the amount of books that were on my physical TBR were very slim. Honestly, sometimes I would read 2 books that I owned the entire year because I would just be a library fiend and a Libby fiend. And now using Hoopla, and for a very, very short trial period, I also had Kindle Unlimited, so I was a fiend for that because I think it was, yeah, a trial period, or my sister had it. My last tip, I guess, is also make use of people around you. If they have a book, borrow it from them, or if your sibling has Kindle Unlimited, share that account. But yeah, that's it. I hope you guys are able to read a lot, and I think what I'm trying to say is hopefully you don't have to limit your reading because of money or the price points and all that. So yes, happy reading, and if you are also looking for Goodreads or Fable friends, let's connect on Goodreads and Fable.